Okay. All right. Well, let's get started then. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone to our October product focus session. I am Scott Gannett, Director of Marketing for Hirose Americas. So to start us off today, TAC Endo will be reviewing a new NPI product, and then in addition to a product refresh. So today we are excited to talk about the DF40F. This is a new NPI. It is ideal for modern devices that demand efficient space utilization without compromising on performance. The DF40 is engineered for resilience. It has a groundbreaking floating design to effortlessly absorb misalignments and ensure reliable connections. So it is one of the world's smallest width floating board connectors. So it's perfect for a space-saving footprint. It also has a very high heat resistance of up to 125 degrees Celsius and capable of supporting rapid data transfer. This connector is excellent choice for seamless integration. TAC will then give everyone a refresher on the DF40T series. And then after TAC, we'll spend a couple minutes talking about, Dave Gallagher will spend a couple minutes talking about the DF51K SMT. This is our second NPI that we'll be talking about today. This is a 2mm pitch center lock wire to board connector. It is designed with versatility in mind. It offers options like THT SMT. It is available in straight or right angle alignments. And it comes in gold or tin plating. Its center lock design promotes high density mounting while ensuring easy operation. So those are the three products we will be talking about today. A quick reminder, please don't forget to participate in the live question polls during the presentations. We gather this information after each session, and it does go back to our designers. So it is information that we do capture and incorporate into feedback. So please make sure you do take some time to fill that in when those pop up. And finally, we will wrap up with a team Q&A session. So please have those questions ready. Also remember, and I'll encourage everyone, don't be afraid to drop a question into the chat. I monitor the chat for the presenters during the session, and if I see a question come up, as soon as I find that opportunity, I'll get it in front of the presenter. So no issue with dropping in a chat question if you have one along the way. Remember, the sessions are posted on the Hirose extranet should you need to reference back to the presentation or the video for folks from your teams that may have not been able to make it. And we now have all the presentations as well as the videos on the extranet. So with that, I have the pleasure of introducing TAC Endo, our principal marketing specialist from our product management team. TAC, it's all yours. Take it away.
Thank you, Scott, for your great introduction. Let me share my screen. Can you see the screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Thank you for your time today. Let me introduce DF40T and DF40F. Before jumping to DF40T and F, let me touch a little bit about three key factors about DF40 series as an industry leader. Firstly, since its debut in 2005, DF40 series has been selling very well, and its historical sales is more than $300 million, and it's still ranked in top 5 selling product of Hirose today. As such, DF40 series became a kind of de facto standard of 0.4mm pitch board-to-board connector, so you can see it everywhere, from old cell phone, home appliances, several computing modules, too many to introduce here. Through long-term and continuous sales, DF40 has now excellent selection of varieties like stack height, pin count, shielded version, and so on. DF40 changed its stack height from 1.5 to 4 mm with a 0.5 mm increment by changing its receptacle height. Looking at graph with stack height and pin count axis, you can see how wide the DF40 variations are compared with leading competitors, such as Company A and Company B. And this is the whole picture of DF40 family today. This is the standard DF40, DF40G as shielded version, DF40GL as shielded with positive lock, and today's focus is DF40T as high temperature resistance version and DF40F as floating version. DF40T is at 0.4 mm pitch, 3.38 mm width, 125C heat resistance, automotive grade board-to-board connector. Simply say DF40T is automotive grade version of DF40 in terms of spec, development, and production process. But this can be used for versatile applications which require high reliability and transmission speed. When we say automotive grade, it passed severe reliability testing such as vibration, shock, high temperature, humidity, and so on. Three key features of DF40T are high heat resistance up to 125C, high speed transmission, and wide variations. What makes DF40T different from DF40 is higher temperature resistance and high-speed transmission. Receptacle contact of DF40T has more appropriate shape and material to maintain spring force even after undergoing high temperature exposure. You can see stable contact resistance after heat resistant and temperature cycle testing. Receptacle contact of DF40T has thinner shape as stack height is higher, making it more stable impedance as transmission path, contributing to its more high-speed transmission capability. This is the PCI Express Gen 4 test result on DF40T. As you can see, DF40T can pass each SI factors with enough margin to the spec line. Physically speaking, difference between DF40 and DF40T is just receptacle contact and can use standard DF40's receptacle housing, so we could rapidly expand its variations. Scott, could you post the first question for today?
All's coming, Tech.
Thank you. Okay, let me move on. Target applications are very broad, from automotives to sleek consumer devices. For automotive applications, DF40 is very good for sensors for ADAS or autonomous driving, such as camera, radar, LiDAR, and so on. This is a typical usage in automotive camera, connecting image sensor board to main board. Let's move on to DF40F series. Simply say DF40F is an automotive-grade floating plug which can mate with standard DF40 and DF40T receptacles to make it floating board-to-board connector. So the biggest advantage is being able to utilize wide variety of standard DF40 and DF40T receptacles. And its width is one of the industry's smallest as floating board-to-board connector. And DF40F is capable of high-speed transmission when mated with DF40T. And I need to touch on the BM54 series, which is coming soon, because DF40F and BM54 are very similar. While developing DF40F, automotive customers have become more and more demanding in terms of wide floating range and effective mating length. However, due to design constraints of utilizing conventional DF40 and DF40T, it was too difficult for DF40F to meet such demanding requirements. So we decided to develop BM54 from scratch to satisfy such needs. Still, some automotive customers are satisfied with DF40F spec, and it is also good for industrial and consumer applications. When we don't have what customer want in terms of stack height and pin count in neither DF40F nor BM54, we will judge which to develop on the case by cases. So please consult Hirose in such case. Let me touch a little bit about benefit of floating. It absorbs misalignment of board and connector positions, so it makes design flexibility to customer. Also, multiple connectors can be used between single rigid boards as it absorbs connector mounting tolerances. Talking about wide variety, this matrix shows stack height and pin count variation of DF40 and DF40T. This shows number of positions and height variations in DF40 and DF40T. As you can see, standard DF40 has more variations, but DF40T will catch up soon as physical difference is just reciprocal contact, and we don't need to make any new component parts to make T version from standard DF40. And DF40F can mate with wide variety of DF40 and DF40T receptacles. So one DF40F plug achieves stack height from 3.5 to 6 mm with a 0.5 mm increment by changing receptacle height. You might recall that stack height of standard DF40 and DF40T ranges from 1.5 to 4 mm, which is 2 mm lower than that of DF40F. This is because DF40F plug is 2 mm higher than DF40 and DF40T plug due to the space needed for its floating structure. Talking about small size, DF40F's width is 3.68 mm, one of the industry's smallest as floating board-to-board connector. Now let me compare with other suppliers and BM54. Advantageous factors are highlighted in orange. In stack height 3 mm class, competitive advantage of DF40F is wide variety of stack heights and small width, though it is little wider than company B's. In stack height 3.5 to 4.5 mm class, DF40F's narrow width becomes number one. Same for stack height class 5 mm or more. And overall, when compared with other suppliers, competitive advantage of DF40F is wide variety of stack heights and small width. Scott, can you please pose the second question? Thank you. And target applications are very broad, from automotive to sleek consumer devices. For automotive applications, DF40 is good for sensors like this. And this is a typical usage in automotive camera. And you may notice that target applications are same as that of DF40T non-floating connector. For this kind of small camera, let me explain which case requires floating and which case does not. Okay, so this is a typical small camera for automotive or industrial or some consumer devices applications. And this kind of small camera shapes like this, to achieve small form factor and waterproofness, interface connector housing shape is integrated into the outer case of camera like this. When considering assembly tolerance, optical axis of image sensor and lens should be almost perfectly aligned, so this image sensor board position is fixed based on this. Let me assemble here. And there are board-to-board connectors like this. And those are subject to be displaced a little bit when mounted. And same for interface connector pin as well. And then make the board-to-board connector. And try to close the case by aligning connector pin and housing hole, like this. But case doesn't close as upper and lower case are displaced. In this case, move the connector pin to the right place by two ways. One is to use floating board-to-board connector like DF40F. Like this. So this move means gray colored connector, say DF40F plug, is floating to absorb displacements. And the other way is to use the floating interface connector pin, like this. In this case, no floating is needed for board-to-board connector, so DF40T is good to offer. Scott, could you pose the third question for today?
Here comes poll question number 3. Please don't be shy. Go ahead and answer those.
Thank you.
This one is
And-
multiple choice too, by the way. So you can select multiple industries on this one, folks.
Right. And here's quick recap of today's session. DF40T is an automotive grade version of DF40, which has been industry leader. Three key features and advantages are high heat resistance up to 125C, high-speed transmission like PCIe Gen 4, 16 gigabit per second, and wide variations. Physical difference between DF40 and DF40T is receptacle contact. And DF40F is an automotive-grade floating plug which can mate with standard DF40 and DF40T receptacles to make it floating board-to-board connector. 3 key features and advantages are wide variety thanks to utilizing wide variety of standard DF40 and DF40T receptacles. And its width is one of the industry's smallest as floating board-to-board connector. And DF40F is capable of high-speed transmission when mated with DF40T. That's all from me today. Thank you.
Zach, thank you very much. Great job. Okay, I
you.
don't have any questions in the chat as of right now. So that means we get to go directly to Dave Gallagher. Dave, the stage is yours.
Oh boy. We just mentioned on that DF40F. I know many folks have asked about this in the past. We've talked about it a little bit. It's finally available. And if you have customers today that are using the regular DF40 connector and have had multiple connectors on a board, and I can think of probably a half dozen accounts that I've been to that use multiple DF40s on a board today, the cool thing is they only have to change one side in order to use the DF40F floating version, which means their process to make a change is easier, and they can gain that floating advantage. So it's a big plus. Hopefully you'll be able to utilize that. So do look to your existing accounts that are using the DF40 series today, and that may be some possible places to get in the door pretty quickly on that floating version. So look forward to seeing lots of design regs rolling in soon on that DF40 floating connector. So that's really cool and awesome. Today, I'm going to be covering the DF51K series. And we mentioned NPI earlier, and some of you probably saying to yourself, boy, DF51K, that's been around for a while. And you're right, it has been. But what it has not been is a surface mount design. And so that is something that is new for Hirose on this product family. So introducing the DF51K SMT series product design. We are super excited that this is now available. We have seen customers asking about surface mount designs before, and we're kind of excited to see that we now have that option available in a 2mm pitch product series. If you've had customers that have been using 2mm pitch before, and you see that their devices are moving towards surface mount technology, this is a great product to highlight to them. It is very similar in physical size as the regular DF51K series, and utilizes the exact same socket, so they do not have to change their wire harness side. They only change the connector that mounts to the PC board. Same wire gauge range size, same cool center lock design for latching. And speaking of that center lock, the secure mating feature of the DF51K center lock is one of the key highlights of that product family. It has a very distinct tactile feel and audible sound when it clicks and locks together, and that ensures that it is fully mated. And as you can see, the process to do that, it is very easy to insert this connector socket into the header. And then when it clicks and locks in place, it's very solid field to the operator that's doing that. So that's a big plus in the field. I know that there are many connectors out there that have side latching locks, and we're certainly in the 2mm pitch space. There are lots of options that are available. I'm sure very much on your line cards. Hirose has some definite advantages over some of our competitors. We'll cover that again in a little bit here. But this latching feature is one of the strengths on this product. Some latches just do not have a very distinct feel to them. They're kind of spongy, and that can be a real challenge for customers. The other cool thing about DF51K series is how it is polarized in the outer shell. Cool thing here, we have designed this so that you cannot insert it backwards. And it sounds kind of silly with a side latch connector, but let me tell you, some of our competition out there has latching connectors that, yes, you can rotate them. And if you apply a little bit more force, you can exceed the quality of the polarization on the connector and insert it incorrectly. If you've ever had one of the demo versions of this connector, go ahead and try it. And you're going to find out that it doesn't really work for this series because you can't do that. We've done a couple of aspects within the design of the polarization key. Number one is you can't put it in backwards. Number two is if you take a different pin count and try to insert it in, that too will not work because we've designed the connector so that even with just a slightly different pin count in the design, the key slots will not align properly and it will hit the housing wall and prevent that mating. So we've designed the contacts on these for very much for reliability, as we do with many of our products. We're well known for the engineered quality within the design. The 2-point contact and long effective wipe length on that contact means that customers can count on our connector to provide the best performance, power, and voltage transfer in that connector series and design. So super great design within the contact. Very easy for durability, especially in applications that require that extra durability feature. Another thing about surface mount, sometimes when you get into bigger connectors, folks are concerned about the structural integrity of a surface mount versus a through hole. And I have heard this. I've been to accounts where we've talked to, robotics and customers where there's some shock and vibration occurring in the environment, and they're concerned about a surface mount connector. Hirose's answered that call by designing the contact inside the housing to apply some of those forces very evenly throughout the bottom and the mating surface area to the PC board. That structural integrity moves that stress across the whole bottom of the connector, ensuring that it transfers properly to the PC board and that they don't have to worry about tear out. We do hear about through-hole connectors. People go, hey, through-hole, I'm going to do through-hole because it's stronger. Well, we've designed this connector to add that strength into the development, into the housing, so they do not have to worry about that. And here's a nice view of it from the side on the right angle design. You can see that even on the right angle, we've added some extra structural integrity beside the contacts. So it's not just the contacts that's holding it down there. We add that structural integrity so that some of that force is applied from the plastic housing as well. So that force is distributed across areas of the surface of the PC board to ensure reliability. So we do offer this in straight and right angle designs. And, Scott, I think I blew right past my poll question. I'm sorry about that, but can you throw that first poll question up? I totally gapped it. I was going to.
I've already posted the second.
Oh, you did? I didn't even see it pop on my screen. That's so fast. That's why I told you the slide numbers. I knew I was going to blow by them.
Both of them are posted.
Both of them are posted. Oh, hopefully I'll look over those numbers. Pin counts that are availability on this product series. In the single row, we have 2, 4, and 6 contact versions. In the double row, it's 6, 14, and 30 pin positions. We expect to expand on that in the future, but right now that's where we're starting that product family out. One other thing I wanted to mention right at the beginning of this presentation, I skipped over, and that is this is probably the first time that we're doing a presentation where we're telling you about a product that is going to be releasing into the advertising market next month. So normally we tell you after it's been released. But in this case, in about 2 weeks, we're going to be issuing the release notification. So this is kind of your preview to get an understanding of what's coming down the pipe with Hirose. So the SMT version of the DF51K will be showing up in your product listings over the next few weeks. And hopefully you'll be able to get some design win opportunities. But this gives you a little bit of a preview ahead of time of products coming out in the future. One thing I want to note about the surface mount version, and that is potting. The through-hole version of this connector, we had a diagram picture look just like this one here, where we talked about doing resin sealing on your PC board for 3 millimeters. I want to note that this particular version, the SMT version, does not support potting. And I mention this because if you're not careful and you look at the document, you might see this diagram and say, hey, it supports potting. The surface mount version does not, only the through-hole version does. That is something if you've got a customer that is doing, maybe they're doing conformal coating in their design, you'll want to stick with the through-hole version of this. Now, whoops, I went the wrong way here. Sorry about that. Speaking of competitors, one thing we have going here is we do have some advantages within the design of the connector. Across the board, when we went out and looked at our competitors, physically, Hirose's product size is smaller than our competition. I didn't put in all the spec details because I thought that would bore you. But let me just say that Hirose continues with our legacy of offering the best power delivery based on the physical space on the board. We consistently do that in our wire-to-board connectors. So this is no exception to that. We are smaller than the top 3 competitors in the market for this design. And that's a big plus if you have a customer with tight real estate in their product design. Now for applications, same as we'd seen previously in other wire-to-board applications, office equipment, medical equipment, et cetera, tools and things like that, robotics. In the robotics world, or if any of your customers are using motor control type devices, this is a great opportunity to show them a product that's perfect for their CAN bus or motor control systems. Motor control is a big area. You'll see power going to the motor, but usually there's a separate line that carries the data and the control signals for that motor. DF51K is a perfect product to use in that environment. It's relatively small size. You can run CAN bus over it. CAN bus honestly will run over pretty much anything, but CAN bus is typically what you see in the motor control realm. That is something that you will be able to use this product family for very easily. So other applications, electric tools, any kind of tool products, anytime you have any kind of control signals, simple sensors and voltage sensors that are on devices, those are great applications for a product like this when you're talking to customers. So 2mm pitch in summary, a wire-to-board connector with a positive latching lock design. So that is the last thing I wanted to cover on the DF51K SMT series. So if there are any questions on that, Scott, I didn't see any in the chat box.
We have had none in the chat box so far. So I think
so far, no questions.
Yep.
Move on to the next slide section. Let me do that here. Awesome.
Oh,
so
wait 1 second. Okay. Somebody just popped up. Hold on. Top 3 competitors. Who are they?
Oh, so your big typical, I don't usually put competition onto the slides, but your typical ones are your TE and Molex and JST. Those are your typical top competitors in this type of market.
Thank you, Dave.
Somebody always asks that question.
Of course.
Naturally.
We're the best, so it's easy to say the second place and third and fourth are, others. So
absolutely. All right, so we're going to cover one other topic here today, and that is talking a little bit about our VIP5 program. Many of you have taken advantage of this and gotten some products registered for the VIP program. Just as a reminder, a couple of reminders, these are the product series that are covered within the VIP5 DF36. The DF51, you may have heard that product series recently, DF51, 51K, LF10, FH41, FH58, GT50, and FH72. This program will be ending on December 31st. So this is a reminder that you need to get your program DRs in for this program so that you can take advantage of it in your project opportunities. So bear in mind, it is ending on December 31st, and that is amazing enough, not that far away. Hopefully you've already planned and you have your Christmas gifts that you're sending to me. We'll make sure we include that address information for you at a later time. So in summary, finally, don't forget about our digital resources, our connector selector, online digital catalog. Check out our YouTube channel. There is amazing amount of work being done in video content. Every single week, a new video is shot. I think I can say that legitimately, Scott, every single week. There is a new video being shot. Yeah. And sometimes multiple videos, by the way. We also have stuff up on LinkedIn, videos and content. You can click on the repost and share some of those content, especially those video posts with very informative information about the connector offerings from Hirose. We have application guides, 2D drawings, 3D models, and some product selector guides, all available on our website. Please be sure to check those out. Any questions for us?
Hey, Dave Gallant here. Just a quick comment on the VIP5. Sure. Just make sure for you to get the extra 5%, there needs to be a buddy call. So I've had situations where the DRs have come in and there haven't been buddy calls, and I had to just give the distributor the normal 10%. So please communicate with your Hirose account manager and our rep and get the calls brewing.
Absolutely great. Thanks, Dave. Any other questions or statements? Or
I would also emphasize just one more. I'm going to steal the screen from you for 1 second, Dave. Again, our YouTube page, please subscribe. But also, we do have, as we do these product focused trainings and we release new NPIs, we do post up the videos. In fact, the DF40F is already up here. It's a 1.5-minute video. So it is a great quick synopsis overview of the product. So as you're out in the field, if you need to show it to a customer super quickly, this bookmark the Hirose electronic page and the videos, and we have a lot of video content. As you can see, the DF50K that we previously released, the BK22, the DF51B, FX18. So you can see quite a lot of videos that are out here that are available, new, fresh content to leverage. So please feel free to leverage with these. And if you actually need a video file, for some reason you may be offline, please don't be afraid to reach out to us.
don't forget to hit subscribe. I think you already said that, but hit subscribe. If you hit subscribe, you get your notifications on new content posted. You'll be notified of updates and to that page. It also improves our reach with some of these new product announcements. So that really helps a lot if you can hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel, and the same on LinkedIn. Be sure to click on that, follow us, so that way you'll see the posts come up in your LinkedIn feed.
Questions for the team? Don't be shy. Okay. So while if anyone is collecting their thoughts on a last minute question, just remember our next product focused training will be Wednesday, November 15th. Once again, that middle of the month Wednesday, where we will be introducing a few new product releases. So I'll give one more chance for any questions. If anyone wants to, has any questions. All right. I think with that, then I think we can wrap it up for the day. Tack and Dave, thank you very much for the information. Great job with the presentations and the information, and we look forward to talking to everyone again next month. Take care.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
Thank you.
Good job.
Have a great day.